The managing company for the Upper Pontalba apartments wants the New Orleans City Council to consider funding $8 million in renovations.
One political analyst says New Orleans should follow the lead of other major cities across the country and cut ties with the rental property. Maddie Kurth reports.
Day 8 of New Orleans' 2024 budget hearings, and the City Council is running low on patience.
We've been here for a long time, so if you want to cut to the chase a little bit.
Up for discussion, funding $8 million for the roof, patio, and HVAC renovations of the city-owned Upper Pontalba apartments. It's divided into 16 townhome structures made up of 50 residential and 16 commercial units, and riddled with the same kind of water damage the city has dealt with since it first took ownership in 1930. Council President J.P. Morrell wants the city to wash its hands of the property for good.
Why have the Pontalba?
Cities are not good landlords. They just don't operate with the same level of efficiency that the private sector does.
Dillard University political analyst Dr. Robert Collins senses fatigue amongst the council on this issue.
The council is definitely tired of folks coming to ask for money for renovations. But also, I think just the whole administration of the Pontalba, the whole issue with the mayor's apartment this year, I think this particular city council is simply tired of handling it. They probably think it's been a distraction, and they've spent so much of their working hours dealing on one relatively small parcel of land in the city of New Orleans when they have so many other things to worry about.
The Pontalba is the money pit. I mean, it's the property where no matter what you replace on it, some other piece is going to fall off.
Dr. Collins sees a potential compromise.
I think the issue here is whether or not this historic building should be used as private rental property.
Collins says if the city could maintain ownership of the property but alter its usage of the space, it would eliminate the burden of residential property management.
Or the city might just say, you know what, we're not going to deal with this anymore. This is an expense. This is a money pit. So simply put it up for sale. Find a good owner, a responsible owner, and allow them to operate it and to manage it.
This property and its sister building across Jackson Square were declared a National Historic Landmark in 1974. Regardless of their ownership, Collins says protections to preserve that history, notably in the facade of the buildings, would still be required.